Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? You what? God design, God design.
What's the deal, board buddies? Welcome to the Boerboel Show. I'm your host, Jordan Pittman, and my co-host, Jason Gibson. This is the place to be, 7 o'clock on the dot on a Thursday. And if you don't know, this is the Boerboel Show, where we discuss the breed that we love, the dog that we feel is the most majestic, mythical, impressive Boerboel, the dog breed in the world, the South African Boerboel. Here we celebrate this breed, we exchange information, we aim to empower you with knowledge and information and data. I'm your host, Jordan Pittman. My co-host, Jason Gibson. What's the deal, big bro?
Hey, how you doing today, Boer Ambassador?
The Boer Ambassadors. Tell them about it. Yes, sir.
Official. Title.
Yeah. Hey, we gonna let them know today. We got a very interesting show. We're talking about Boerboel mastery, unlocking the potential. We got some good information to share with y'all. We're gonna be talking about the trainability, understanding the trainability with this breed because they have so much to offer. Essential training, starting with your puppies, talking about some common issues that you're going to develop. We want to help you aim to empower you and your experience. We want it to be a positive experience and where you can reach your greatest potential. So we got some great tips and tricks because this breed is so powerful, because the breed is so special. It takes deliberate training. You have to understand, and it's the reasons why they say that the Boerboel is not for everyone. Ain't that right, big brother?
That's right, brother. And especially when you're talking about a creature as powerful as this, a creature that ranges from 140 pounds to 180 pounds, and you got some exceptional monsters out there that might even breach 200 pounds. You have to do what Jordan just said, deliberate training. There's no guessing on this. There needs to be a foundation, a criteria set and met throughout the lifetime of this dog.
Yeah, and I mean, because the Boerboel has this unique history. When you start talking about understanding the breed, you gotta remember that this is an ancient breed that it goes all the way back to the tombs of Egypt. These dogs are related to the Afrikaner dog. This dog survived in the village. It had to be cunning. It had to be aware. It had to use its senses. These were essential to the survival, and that has transferred into the breed that we have today. And it also influences their usefulness and their purposefulness. This is part of the reason that the Boerboel is so impressive and so majestic the way that they are. You know, it has so much to offer. When you start talking about a breed that has to survive based off of its usefulness, based off of its utility, based off of its advantages that it offers to the village, you're talking about a dog that normally would not survive. So because of this, it's very special, and it's aided in the man from the time that it's in inception. It's been alongside as man as many as 10,000 years.
So when you're talking about a dog like you're talking about now, man, that the keywords, I'm gonna keep hitting the keywords that you hit. When you say survival, when you're talking about a dog that was meant and bred for survival, you also mean one that was meant and bred for adaptation to where we're at today. And that's where my co-host Jordan is going to start filling us in, is where the survival of this dog and the adaptation of it also depends on how you can adapt your training to it.
Right. I mean, because think about it. We got so many components of the Boerboel: highly social, highly adaptable, emotional intelligence, the learning and ability to retain information. These things that you want to take advantage of. These are assets that the breed possesses. And what it does is it allows the dog to have this very successful relationship. We want you to get the best out of your relationship We want, I mean, this is it's just so much of a amazing dog breed, and part of it falls into this unique history that it has because it has survived and evolved. You know, think about all of the things that a stray dog in the village that it would have to have. You know, it has to have this emotional intelligence. It has to be relatable. You know, they have to have eyes, ears. They have to be in tune with the environment. You have to have great protective instincts. All of these virtues and values that have crafted this breed. So we're gonna talk about harnessing and mastering this potential because it's so great. It's so many different ways, and it's easy. It's something that you could easily mistrain if you don't understand. Because we love those, we care about them. We tend to treat them like they're babies,
and take some of that natural instinct, take it for granted, or misinterpreted some of the things that goes on with this breed. So you can't take it for granted. You can't misinterpret things, and you have to be consistent. And these are all things that's gonna, if you write notes like I write notes, you might want to have your pen and paper out right now.
Right. So we understand that the breed is is important. It's got this unique abilities. So when we start talking about training, we already went into the 12-week process, you know. So now we're getting into the month number 4 to 6 months. It's a very important time for your dog. If you considering getting one, you want to be prepared. You want to know the things to look out for. You want to know what you should be doing and what you should not be doing in order to enhance this relationship. We want you to have the best possible relationship with your dog. And it takes a lot of understanding. It takes a great understanding of the breed's capabilities, the potentials, and things to look out for. So like one of the things that I tend to see, you know, it's like puppies biting, right?
Yes.
That's always, people tend to play with their puppies, and then you know the Boerboels play rough. They do a lot of things with their mouth. We want to
physical dogs. They're physical. They don't just look impressive. They're actual physical, solid dogs. And when we say rough, when he says rough, he doesn't mean mean. It doesn't mean mean, but they are rough. They're substantial dogs with size and girth. So just again, so don't confuse that for mean or aggressive. They're just rough.
Right. And they got a high tolerance for pain. You know, it's like a big boy. You know, he wants to wrestle. He wants to play rough. You know, and so you want to manage that with your puppy, because you are not what they call like a peer. You're not your puppy's peer. You're the leader. So there's a certain way that you play with a leader. You know, there's certain things that you're not going to allow your puppy to do, because you don't want this dog to feel like he's on an even like a peer, which he's not your equal.
Yeah.
So
like
we want to limit.
Alpha wolf, like if you break it down slow, there's an alpha wolf that will play with the other wolves, but there's certain lines they'll never let them cross, even in play.
Right. And you have to understand that as the leader, there's certain things that the young pups do not do to the older pups. It's a respect thing. You know, it's like a respecting of the leadership. So you know, you're not gonna let whatever your rules are, you have to be strict with them. You want to make sure that you enforce them. You want to be consistent in your institution of the rules and regulations. So you're not gonna, let's say one of the things that my personal things that I don't like with my dogs to do is I don't want them jumping on me, putting their paws on me every time that they happy to see me. I don't want them hugging on me, loving on me, because I got, you know, a pack of dogs and then everybody coming and jumping on me. That's an inappropriate way to greet. I don't want my visitors to come over and then the dogs is putting their on them and so on and so forth.
And this is what we're going to cover on this too, is confusing a dog. Because if you like your dog to jump up on you as soon as you get home and playing with you, and he's always used to jumping up on you and getting rubbed and loved for doing that, you can't get mad at him when he's been out in the mud and you got your Sunday's best on and he sees you and he runs and jump up on you. Because now if you yell at him and say, "Get off me, what are you doing?" and you're mad, you're breaking the rules. You're breaking the trust. You're breaking down the foundation that you built with this dog. So consistency.
That's key. That's a great point, big brother. You want to be consistent. So you know, like you said, you're not going to allow the dog to do this in one situation when it's all muddy. You want to make sure that you are sticking to the rules that you installed. So you can't allow the dog to do this one day. He doesn't know the difference between his paws. You know, he doesn't know that he's all dirty and filthy, nasty in the mud. So he
You don't
feels
know
like,
you
hey,
got
watch
on
that.
Gucci.
Hey, right. He don't know nothing about that Gucci.
That don't matter
Yeah.
to him. He just want to hug you.
Yeah, and then he's confused. He's
Yep.
confused, like, man, what's up with that? He's tripping today. I don't know. Some that be acting it. He be switching the game up on me. You want to make sure that you remain consistent. Remember that the Boerboel has a great level of emotional intelligence.
Oh, yes.
So he's trying to figure out what's going on. He's trying to read me. Remember, he has a great ability to learn and retain information. So these routines that you establish, you want to be consistent. You know, you want to make sure that you are effectively communicating with your pup so that he knows how to stay in line within the rules and the guidelines that you have established.
Yes. Yes. So once you establish those pack rules, you have to stick with them too. And that's just for the sanity of the dog itself, because the worst dog is a confused dog. A confused dog is a terrible dog, because if without no rules are very important in a pack structure for a dog. And again, when you're talking about a powerful animal like a Boerboel, they want that structure. They need that structure. And if you can't provide structure for them, they will try to provide structure for you.
Exactly. That's what you don't want.
That's
You
what you
don't.
don't.
You want the dog should understand clearly established leadership.
Yes.
This is not something where the dog, you don't, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they feel like they'll let the dog take take the leadership role because they
Yep.
don't understand how to effectively calm the dog down, let the dog know that I'm in control of the situation. You can stand down, you can relax, you can be civil. And what the dog does is he interprets it. He says, well, dad or mom, you don't really understand how dangerous that this world is. They're not respecting your leadership.
Yeah.
They don't feel that you're capable of defending yourself. I need to protect mom. I need to step up. And this is failure to lead effectively. This is a failure to lead effectively because the dog feels that you're not qualified to protect the pack. You're not qualified to lead the pack. And it might not seem like a total disrespect. You know, he may feel like, okay, you might get some compliance at certain times, but you want this, like we said, again, we're going to keep going back to this word consistency, routine. You want the dog to understand that you are the leader. And how do you do that? Through these strict guidelines and these rules that you establish. You got to stick to the rules, and you want to be fair to yourself. So you be one of the biggest things with the Boerboels that I noticed in my dogs is they are always seeking attention and praise. You want to use that to your advantage. So you don't want to cheapen and weaken your praise by overpraising or praising improperly, praising the wrong
improperly.
behavior.
That's a big thing. Praising improperly.
Like you were saying, big bro. So if the dog hops up on you and you loving it and making it a comfortable situation, you rewarding this attention that the dog is showing, you rewarding this behavior. What you're actually doing is reinforcing it.
Yes.
And you're letting the dog know that this is acceptable. So you are giving the dog the green light to jump up on you every single time. Say what, big bro?
Oh, that you're reinforcing the fact that the dog thinks that jumping up on you is how it gets its affection. That's what stimulates you to do what it wants you to do. So
right.
It's going to keep doing it.
Yeah, so we're talking about, like we said, reinforcement. And when you're giving that dog that praise and that love, that's a positive experience. You're making the dog feel comfortable. You're making the dog feel like this is a great thing. For dad loves this when I do this. Every time that I see him, I'm going to jump up and give him a big hug and lick all on, give him a big kiss. And this is not something that you're going to be able to do all the time. So you got to be mindful of that. You got to be conscious of that. Getting into, another common thing that we're going to go through is the nipping and the biting.
little Tyrannosaurus Rexes, little dinosaurs running around at that 4 month mark. At that 4 month mark, they start nibbling, and it's due in process to teething. And also, I tell people, imagine if you didn't have your hands, right? If you didn't have your hands, and your only way to kind of experience the world is through your mouth, almost like a baby. A baby will pick up a rock and put it in his mouth, pick up a sock and put it in your mouth, put your hand or your ankle in his mouth, because that's how it's processing the world at this stage of its life. And that's all a dog has to do to really process the world, is his nose and his mouth.
That's a great comparison. That's a great way to break it down too. That's exactly how think about your puppy as an infant, you know, up to 2 years old. That's typically how much intelligence that the dog has, the learning capacity of a 2-year-old. So like you said, man, they constantly picking things up, constantly biting things to get a feel for the texture. The way that you're going to alleviate this instinctual desire to chew is by providing the dog with appropriate chew toys. Yes. I always recommend bones. If you see here, I keep some bones around. So my puppies typically are under the desk when I'm around. And so like this is what they have on their bed. This is a beef bone, a rib bone. So anytime my puppy might get up from this bed that I have situated here under the desk, he may go over to a book or he may go over to the wall. What I'm going to do is I'm going to calmly and gently lead him back to his bed, and then I'm going to give him the appropriate chew toy, what I would like for him to chew when he's playing with this.
Chew toy.
Yep, you got to have some appropriate chew toys. The bone, I feel like, is the best, one of the best things that you can give a dog, because if you think about a carcass, for the first 2 or 3 days, they're going to be getting all the muscle meat, the fat, the organs, all of the choice meat cuts. And then the last the next 3 or 4 days, they might be just chewing and gnawing on bones. You know, this is a way to strengthen the jaw. This is a way to clean the teeth. It aids in digestion because they're constantly chewing. They're building up the saliva, which has the digestive enzymes that allows the dog to better absorb nutrition. So you want to give the dog, you want to stay away from the commercial type of chew toys like a Nylabone or something. You know, I feel like this is the best way. The dogs are often going to destroy the toys. So, and I don't care what kind of toy it is. I haven't had a toy that is Boerboel proof. I mean, the power of their jaws, and the more that they exercise them, the stronger that they get.
And if you're getting any of those toys for the dog that you can get readily available at your local pet stores, you got to make sure they're size appropriate, strength appropriate, and when it starts getting damaged, you have to pick it up and replace it. You also have to be worried about clothing items around the house, because all these things can cause substantial damage or danger to the dogs. So remember, these dogs' mouths get big fast, so they go from chewing to swallowing quick. So you got to make sure that you're ever present, watching and protecting over this dog.
Excellent point. Supervision. You want to be mindful of the toys. You want to be mindful of the condition of the toys. If that's what you decide to go and get, keep an eye on it, because like we said, their dogs their mouths grow fast. They got intense jaw strength and power. So that chew toy, in a matter of time, small matter of time, will be chewed up. And so you want to, like you said, the dog can swallow that gets impacted, that causes you to have to go to the vet. Man, that was a great point that you had just made. I also wanted to touch on setting like when you said the shoes, when you said the clothes.
Yes.
Remember that your dog is nose oriented, highly nose oriented. So when the dog, the shoes are walking, going through all of these different smells that you're collecting throughout the day, and it's a way for the dog to kind of get a sense of your day. It's like the newspaper. So that's why dogs tend to be highly interested in shoes. They tend to be highly interested in shoes because of the smells that's on our shoes. Yes. So that's a great point that you mentioned. That's why it's always important to be supervising and overseeing this session, because you want to make sure that the dog has got the idea. This is what you should be chewing on when you have this desire to chew. here, your bone is right here. You know, go. This is you're going to be your go-to, and that's going to keep your dog from chewing on you.
Yep. And one of the things, if I interject real quick, one of the most dangerous things to your dog is something that you might take for granted, especially with these dogs, is socks. Socks are very dangerous because a dog will swallow a sock in a second. And you'll be like, okay, it'll poop it out. 9 times out of 10, it will poop a sock out and you'll be all good. But remember, a sock has an opening and a closing. So sometimes a dog, and I've seen it before several times, my dogs are sock bandits. So we have a no sock rule in our house, right? I mean, as soon as you take your shoes and socks off, you got to put them in the hamper. Can't leave them laying around anywhere. Because what'll happen is if your dog swallows a sock, food and moisture can get inside the sock. And I've seen them come out the size of small footballs because they're packed with the turds. And if they get too packed, they can block the intestines and cause a surgery. I mean, they'll get the size of small teddy bears inside your dog's stomach because it's just packed with poop that can't get out. So the sock just expands like a ball, like a football. So socks are very, very dangerous, potentially.
Yeah, definitely be mindful because remember, your socks has got this intriguing smell. You know, it's got your odor on there. It's got your scent, and the dog is going to be naturally drawn and attracted to you. You know, where has Dad been all day? Where did you go to? It's a way for him to get a sense of your day. You know, you emitting pheromones, right? So as we start to get heightened, like let's say we get excited, you know, we're going to release a certain chemical. The dog can pick up on that. That's why the dog's emotional intelligence is very high, because they are able to discern all of these different smells. We don't know when we become upset, when our adrenaline kicks in, when our these different smells, these different hormones, the dogs can pick up on that, the slightest differences. And this what makes them feel like, okay, Dad is upset, or the voice tones and certain things like that. You know, the dog is trying to make a measured decision, an informed decision based off of all of these senses, without you being able to say anything. He's still trying to gauge your feelings. This is what we talk about the Boerboel's emotional intelligence, because they are very objective. They are very observative, right? They are always, I meant to say observative. So the Boerboel is always looking, trying to figure out, how can I fulfill a role? How can I fit in? What can I do to be of service? How can I be of a utility to you? And so he's concerned about your day. How was your day, Dad? Oh, your smells, I can smell it. I can smell it in your socks. I can smell it in your socks. You must need a hug.
And some of y'all socks, I can smell it a little bit better with them funyuns in there. I can smell it a little bit better. So let me ask you this, boy, buddy. I just got off work. I'm relaxing. I let the dog run around the house. I'm trying to watch Game of Thrones on the TV or something on Netflix. And then all of a sudden, God dang it, man. This joker just grabbed my ankle. Well, how do I respond? How do you stop your dog from doing that? And what's the appropriate reaction when it does snatch up your ankle?
Oh, now that was a good, I like how you said, ow, ouch, because, so you want to alarm the puppy. You like, whoa, you want to change your voice tone. You kind of got to be in your mind preparing for this situation to come. You got to know that this is eventually going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then you got to have a prepared response. So you're going to let the dog know, ouch, that hurt, Dad, and you're going to give this dog, he's going to be, remember, they're very sensitive, emotional intelligence. We're talking about your voice tone. So when you say, ow, and that's not your normal tone. And the dog is like, whoa, what did I do?
Am I going to slap him up across the room real quick?
No.
I ain't going to slap him up.
No, I mean, that ouch is a good way that you want to break him up, break his mental, his focus.
So we're not teaching a puppy that's eventually going to be able to outpower you that might is right. We're not teaching them that who's ever the strongest and who can hurt who is the boss. We're not teaching them that.
Great point. We definitely don't want to, it's not about force.
Okay, so
we're not going to bust the dog. We're not going to smack them down. It's gentle guide. If anything, The way to use is a correction or is an adversary. We want to always keep in mind our leash and collar. Those are our tools for communication. It's not about choking the dog. This is your way to inform, guide, lead the dog. So remember how, the mom would correct the dog. She's going to go and she might give him a nip with those canines. Yeah. And it's not so much about, she's not trying to puncture the skin, but it's more so of the pinch. And that's where your training tools come in handy, because you're using the training collar and the leash. It tightens around the neck. It's not so much the tightening around the neck. You're not trying to cut off the air. It's the fact that the skin is getting caught up in the pinch. And that's what causes the correction. So it makes your attention. It gets their attention. Get your attention. Yeah. And it's not about force. You're not trying to punish. All you're trying to do is communicate. Yeah. You hurt dad. You don't want me to bite in you back, or this is my way of letting you know that this is not okay. And the dog always wants to be in line with positivity. He always wants to be an aid. He always wants to be useful. This is the Boerboel way, because remember, this is part of their instinctual desire to survive. These dogs weren't being coddled. They had to figure out ways to fit in to the village. Right? Yeah. We're talking about stray dogs. So he's trying to earn. He's like, look, hey, dad provides the food. What do I need to do? How can I help? So he's looking around. Hey, I'm hungry. And I know if you get some food, or you go out hunting, or you go out and, I make you happy, I make you feel good, then you're going to reward me with food and nourishment, nutrition.
Everything is earned.
Everything is earned. It has
everything to be. Is earned in the past. Everything is earned.
I like how you just put that down too. It has everything should be earned with a working dog in particular. Keep in mind, board buddies, the Boerboel is a working dog. So you don't get paid if you don't work. And when we start to reward this laziness, we start to reward this ineffectiveness, we start to just feed the dog, we start to just love the dog. What we have done is we made the dog lazy. It's almost like giving them a silver spoon. That's not the Boerboel. That's not the Boerboel way. The Boerboel is a working dog. He's supposed to earn the praise. He's supposed to earn the food, and that's why it's always good to keep them a little on the hungry side, right? So remember. I mean, we're talking about a village dog. It's not in abundance. They don't have.
I know some of you guys are finna say, "Oh, whoa, wait a second. What do you mean keep them hungry? Oh, wait a second. Well, we're not talking about starving your dog. We're talking about making them earn. And remember, don't put human emotions onto your dog. Dogs in the wild, dogs built for survival, don't eat 3 times a day. They don't eat 2 times a day. They don't often eat once a day. Maybe they might eat twice a week, 3 times a week. So when you say keep them a little bit hungry, you know what I mean? We're not talking about starving your dog, but when we're talking about this, you got to separate some of your human emotions from what we're talking about. Because these, again, they're dogs, they're animals, they're descendants of wolves. They're still closely related to them. So you got to take out a lot of human emotions. And that's a lot of problems, especially raising a working breed, is when we want to put our human emotions into a Boerboel.
Right. And think about this too, board buddies. We also have an issue with luxurious lifestyle where we eat too much. I challenge you, board buddies. Miss a couple meals and see how you feel. And it's all right. Hey, but miss a couple meals and see how you feel. Watch how your focus is going to heighten. Watch how your intensity and your energy is going to change. Watch how you start to respond to the environment. You're going to have a whole nother level of seriousness, a whole nother level of intensity, because the body's natural response is, hey, wait a minute. I got to get busy. I got to do something. I have to support myself. Okay, something ain't going right.
You bring this savage out, man.
That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. You're gonna take your dog up into high gear. Now, like you said, you're gonna activate the savage in him, and you're gonna see a different look in his eyes. you're gonna see a whole different level of alertness. He's not gonna sleep as hard, right? He's gonna be interested. He's gonna be involved. He's gonna be like, "Hey, I heard something. Is that something to eat? Is that the cue to get ready to chow down?" Right? Okay, I'm ready.
This is how I earn my keep. I'm about to earn my keep. I'm going to protect my pack leader, because remember, we were talking about these dogs were made for what, more buddy? Survival. And so the dog loves love. A dog loves love, but he protects you out of survival, because the dog knows that if you die, his food source dies. If this stranger, so he's going to protect you from this burglar, this stranger, this harasser from killing you, because he loves you and because you're also his food source. He knows that if you're no longer here to provide him food, he's going to perish. So that's why dogs will protect you, especially a working breed like a Boerboel will protect you with their life, because it's part of their survival. Your survival is their survival.
Exactly. It's like we become a unit. That's the essence of a pack. If you look at the Boerboel in South Africa, the old videos, you will see 10, 20 Boerboels in the pack, and they all surviving as a team. They all working together in unison. They all are supporting one another, right? And then you don't see dogs, you don't see a whole bunch of scuffles and spats. They respecting the hierarchy. There's a clearly established leader. You see the older or the shepherd, you know, he may have a stick, and all of the rest of the dogs are kind of like following around him. This is the role of the Boerboel. He's a utility breed. He's here to help. He's here to aid and assist. And so he has to earn his keep. He wants to fulfill. So that's bringing us into our next point about behavior, right? We talked about the health. We talked about the nutrition. In order to keep your dog in a very well-behaved state, and we want to get this established right there at 4 to 6 months. We want to have activities. We want to avoid destructive behaviors. How are we going to do that? By giving the dog mental stimulation. We want to relieve boredom. So a big thing, one of the biggest differences that I noticed between South Africa's dogs and our dogs is they have open pastures, right? The dogs are moving around, so they are able to interact with the environment. They're able to watch people come and go, birds, bees, trees, wind blow, all of these different sounds, all of this different mental stimulation. So by being able to be involved with the environment, you've basically given the dog a role to play. If he's not doing anything else but just watching, and looking for abnormal behaviors, abnormal occurrences, this is a dog fulfilling a role. So you have, when we keep our dogs tenderly, you know, because we are working, our dogs a lot of times will be crated majority of the time. So when you start getting a young puppy into the habit of being crated, he's going to start, remember, learning and retention. He's going to notice that you come, unlatch the door, you know, you open it. He's observative. He's watching. He's looking. He's listening. He knows the sound when you open up the crate. You know, this is and he sees what you're doing. So he's figuring out how to escape, how to get out. And after so long, you know, this boredom is going to lead to, I'm about to break up out of here. You know, I know how to behave myself. You know, I'm going to try this gate. I'm going to try this door. I'm going to look for some play in this door, and I'm looking to get out of here. And the way that we're going to avoid that is by intentional, deliberate leadership with our walks, activities. We're going to take the dog to a destination. We're not just aimlessly walking around. We're not just waiting on, you know, we're not taking a couple steps and then the dog take a couple steps, he sniffs around, and then we walk, you know, patiently behind him. We are briskly walking to a destination as if we're going to, you know, we're looking for food. You know, we're on a hunt. We're migrating. This is an instinctual behavior that is deeply ingrained within the dog. It goes back to the dog being a wolf. So you have to have these activities set up. Remember, the dog is a direct relative of the wolf, where they hunt for their meals. They're a prey animal, would graze a certain area for a certain amount of time, and then as the food supply, the pastures get low, they move on to the next pasture. They look for greener pastures.
Change of environments. So what he's kind of getting at, don't just always go on the same path. If you can change your routine from the street, which is pavement, to gravel, to grass, to sand, if you can change that environment, just what he's walking on and sniffing on, what smells are in the area, if you're changing that environment, because like Jay was just saying, in the wild, if when this area dries up, it's going 3-4 miles in the other direction to where the prey animals are at. So these are things, and I know you say, oh, this is a domesticated dog, but the domestication just means that they're in a simulation with you. They've simulated to your environment. That's the domesticated side, that he's not trying to eat you. But there's still certain things that a dog needs to stimulate its mind. That's still more, not predatory, but more instinctual and more, I guess prehistoric is the right way to say it.
Yeah, primitive.
Primitive, there you go.
Primitive instinctual desire to migrate. So you keep that in mind, boy buddies, because you want to have a great relationship with your dogs. You want to have this dog where it's calm, where it's comfortable, right? So you have to have some purpose for the dog. You want to make the dog fit in. The dog wants to be important. The dog wants to have a role. The dog wants to fulfill a need. This is what the dogs have done throughout history. This is what dogs' purpose role. This is the functional aspect of the Boerboel. And by what we have done, modern society, is we basically have made the dog into strictly as a pet. The Boerboel still retains a lot of its working abilities. It's not far removed from the farm, so it still has a lot of that functional aspect. They want to fulfill a role. They want to be important. Give your dog a job to do. Keep in mind that this is going to keep your dog managed effectively. This is going to keep your dog smooth, calm, and collective. He's not going to be bored and destructive, trying to find ways to escape, find ways to relieve boredom, find things to do.
And so if you're going to expect your dog to behave itself for hours while you're at work, make sure the time that you spend with him is constructive and it's for him. It's for his purposes, for him to do something to stimulate him. Because remember, that hour to 5 hours that you're gone, that's a week to him. You know what I'm saying? That's a significant amount of time to him. So make sure the time you do spend with him is quality, instructive time for him.
Yeah, and it's calculated. You want to make sure. So like, you're going on a long walk, you might want to throw 5 to 10 commands in there, at certain different times, because you want to make it a mental challenge. It's about mental stimulation. So you're giving the dog some commands: sit down, chill, stop, watch, whatever your words are that you use. You're going to use those commands. You're going to give the dog a chance to make a mistake. You want to give a dog a chance to make the correct action. Then you're going to reinforce it with either correction or praise. And you're going to set these situations up. You want to be deliberate with your actions. So you're going to be thinking about your dog before you get there. You're not just aimlessly walking around or just letting the dog loose, and then you're going to go and turn them loose in the backyard and think that that's going to be suffice. Remember, the dog wants to be right there by your side. He wants to be involved. He's focused on you. Dad, how can I assist? How can I be of service? And you let him know, look, we're going to go for a walk today, and we're hunting. We're smelling out the smells. We're investigating the territory. We're on patrol. We want to know, if squirrel came through today, did rabbit come through today? We checking all of these different smells. Now the dog is familiar with the environment. It's like the newspaper. This is a chance for him to figure out what happened last night. Was raccoon out there? You know what I'm saying? And these are the things that's interesting to a dog. So you got to fulfill that role as the leader. You know, like look, hey, this is what we do. You know, I understand your needs, and I'm here to help you fulfill. You know, have this. It's a relationship. The dog is dependent on you, and you're dependent on the dog. So you want to fulfill your role as we got some questions coming in.
Yeah, and I like how you keep going back to when he's sniffing stuff, it's like the newspaper. Again, dogs don't read. Dogs don't have television shows. They don't have the nightly news. They don't have Fox, MSNBC, and CNN, right? They have this nose. So again, like Jordan was saying, when they're sniffing at that fire hydrant or at that bush, they're knowing what there was a fox over here at 2 p.m. That fox had been eating berries. He was in Mrs. Smith's strawberries last night. This raccoon over here, oh man, he was eating some of Peter's dog food. You know what I'm saying? So they sniffing and getting on, and it's excitement to them. And that's what they're doing. And they're marking the area, and they're letting everybody know, yeah, I was in this area. I'm strong and healthy. I have my master with him, and I will protect him. So you guys can do what you want to at this bush, but when I come by with my master, I'm strong. I'll protect him. And so that's some of the things they're transmitting back and forth with each other over here. And I know you guys, sometimes we might be getting a little deep into our conversation, what we're talking about, but at Boerboel Breakdown and Discussion, we want to make sure that we give you a well-rounded generalization of what's going on with your dog and kind of with their psyche. So we like to give you all of the fruit. You know what I'm saying? We're not just going to give you the sweetest part. We're going to give you some of the rind, some of the seeds, everything that you need from that fruit to grow that tree of knowledge that you need to know about this breed.
Excellent. Yes, most definitely. Right. We're going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that we can, based off of our experience. And then you take the meat and spit out the bones. You know, you figure out what works for you and what doesn't. You know, now I'm still learning. We all still learning. We just sharing our experience. We not know-it-alls, right? Yes. So I mean, but we do have valuable experience. We do have very relevant experience that can save you some time and energy. Could save you some heartaches, save you some headaches. We want you to have the best relationship with your dog. We want you to have a fulfilling relationship with your dog. So this is part of the role that you have to play in order for you to have this successful relationship. You
Look what LV Meadows wrote down there. She was shocked when she saw that she knows her dog knows how to check the fence line. That is one of those natural instincts again, because dogs, wolves, they have borders, and they'll know those borders instinctively, and they'll know to check them.
Exactly. They know their perimeters, like you said. They marking territory. They is taking in these different smells. I'm glad that you said how the dog can smell. 4 hours ago, a bird was over here. 3 hours ago, you know, they can smell the timing of the smell. You know, that's how sensitive the nose is. And then it's a way for him to establish, I'm in this territory. The dogs are communicating. If you ever hear the term of a pissing contest, I mean, that's literally where it comes from. Dog marking his territory, and then another dog comes over and pisses on top of it. You know, this is what they do. This is a way for them to establish. This is the way that they communicate. He can tell, oh yeah, man, you low on vitamin D, you low on protein, you low on this, you low on that. Seriously, that's how sensitive that the dog's nose is, though. He can tell.
Yeah, they're letting them know I'm hydrated. I have a water source. I have a pure water source, and I've been eating intestines and hearts. I've been eating the choice cuts of the bison. You know what I'm saying? I can smell that you've been eating squirrel and been scavenging on vulture shit. And so they know all this stuff from the urine. That's where the pissing contest come from. I've been eating better than you. That means I'm a better hunter. I'm a better hunter. I'm a better survival. So you better get out of my territory. That's right. The stuff that they're letting them know.
Right. When you see me stand down, you know, is this the big dog that you've been smelling? This the big dog that you keep on smelling. Yeah, I'm here now. You know what I'm saying? So you already know how I'm coming with the health. I got protein, I got vitamins, I got everything. I've been drinking good water, and I'm ready for smoke. I'm looking for the females You know what I'm saying? Don't touch none of the females. If it's the food around here, I'm eating first. Hey, listen. So
Females,
this is
come
how
join my pack because smell my
communicate.
urine. Smell, I've been
And they,
eating good.
yeah, exactly. Seriously though, I mean, you got to keep this in mind when you're taking your puppy out. You're going to give him a chance to start to familiarize himself with this territory, familiarize himself with these behaviors, these primal instincts. He wants to mark his territory. Give him a space that he can go. Give him an understanding of what the appropriate what is his territory. You know, where should he be defending at? All of these things is natural instinctual behaviors that's going to aid and assist you in developing your dog, your relationship. And this doesn't just apply to Boerboels. This is across breeds. This is going to help you have the greatest relationship with your dog. This is the experiences that I have had. So we just want to share this with you, board buddies. We're going to open it up for questions. If anybody have any questions, now is the time. We're going to comment. You know, what else did you want to add anything, big bro?
Again, I just want to rehash stuff like consistency. Again, when you got a dog that's ranging from 140 pounds to 180 pounds, and again, we have some that reach excess of 200 pounds muscular, consistency is the key. I always tell people, don't let a 20-pound, pretty cute puppy do anything you don't want a 180-pound monster doing, right? So consistency is the key. These dogs like guidance, they like guidelines, and they like structure. They don't like the guidelines to change. They don't like you to manipulate the rules, right? If you lay some rules down for your dogs, keep those rules, follow those rules, reward them for following the rules, and don't punish them if you last minute change the rules. That's your bad. Your dog is functioning within the confines that you made. And then if you all of a sudden change them, your dog starts losing trust in you. It's like, man, he's telling me this today, and then he's punishing me for it tomorrow. My leader's kind of flaky. So he's flaky. So, you know, I want to please him, but he's flaky. So I got to figure this out. Maybe I might need to be the boss.
Right. And remember, I mean, the Boerboel is highly trainable. This is one of the things that they are very known for. They high level of trainability, and they're eager to please. So you want to be consistent with your messages. You don't want to send mixed signals. The dogs are always trying to figure out, they're trying to solve problems. And when you create this situation where you're going to allow this behavior one day and you're going to change it up, all that does is confuse the dog, you know. But like you said, the dog is going to be big. The dog is going to be powerful. The dog is sensitive to your emotions. You know, they have a great ability to learn and retain information. So you know, these are the things that make the dog highly adaptable to modern society, right? Because they're able to transform. They don't have like with a hound dog, right? When you have a hound dog, the hound dog may be strictly interested in prey, or he may be strictly these dogs are utility, so they moldable. You know, this is a part of their survival nature, the nature that causes them to survive.
This is a timeline where they're soaking in and absorbing everything. To go along with their intelligence, you also have a very upshift in the growth patterns of these dogs now. Once you hit that 4-6 month mark, you're going to be starting into that growth spurt area, which we'll cover a little bit now, but a lot more in detail when we get to that 6 to 12 month time frame. But again, your dog is going to start doing a lot of growing at this time. That growth spurt is just about to start going in on it.
Yeah, 4 to 6 months, the dog should be right around 100 pounds. I would say 60 to 100 pounds. And remember, you want to be slow, controlled growth. Slow, controlled growth. You're not trying to put as much weight on your dog as possible. You want to balance the amount of food and nutrition with the exercise and how much the dog is going to be active.
Yes.
Because you're trying to build strong, healthy development. You want to make sure that it's balanced between the weight of the dog. If you notice that I keep my boy Trigger, I keep him on the lean side. Yeah. Because, you know, I don't want him to grow so fast where his muscle can't support the frame.
You don't want to accelerate that growth too fast.
Right. We don't want him to grow fast. Slow, controlled growth.
Slow and steady.
Yeah. We talked about training. We want to nip the biting in the bud. We're going to avoid rough play. We want to make sure that we, keeping it consistent with what we're going to allow, what we don't allow. We got some questions coming in. Just kind of recapping the episode, what we want you to really focus on. These dogs are highly intelligent. You want to get into some of these questions.
Here's a good one right here. What do you think about this one?
They say, do you think females are more aggressive than males? What you say, big bro? I say that the males tend to be more brute.
Yes, the females are more initially protective at first. They're more okay. I'm going to assert myself into this situation faster than a male. But when a male finally decides to insert himself into a situation, he's going to be more dominant. So a female's going to go from 0 to 30 fast. Anyway, a female's going to go from 0 to 50 fast as hell, right? A male might take longer to go from 0 to 50, but that 50 to 60 is going to be a hell of a burst, right? It's a hell of a burst. So a female will put themselves in a position faster, more protective, but a male, when they finally decide to get in a situation, is going to be way more dominant.
Right. He's way more capable. He's way more equipped. Right. So when that male gets activated. Yeah. What'd you say, big brother? The size difference, right?
The size difference. I tell everybody, 5 pounds in a dog is almost, to me, the equivalent of 20 pounds in a human. You know what I mean? So if you got a dog that's 10 pounds heavier than another dog, that's like going from 170 to 200, right? A 170-pound man is a big man, but 200 pounds is a lot bigger. A 200-pound man is really big, but a 240-pound man is a lot bigger. That's what those 5-pound swings on a dog means a lot. So the difference from a male-female side. But again, the female is more than capable of protecting you. But the male, again, is like Jordan said, is going to be more brute. So I don't think the female is more aggressive, more vicious, but they'll again insert themselves into something quicker than a male. But then when a male finally does insert himself into something, he's going to end it faster and more decisively. Yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly. The female is nurturing. The female is more laid back. The female is easily managed, to me, in my experience. When you got that male turned up, I mean, he's ready to go. You really got to get on him. You got to get physical with him. That's where they say firm handling is coming in. You got to get in there and you got to handle a male. You got to let him know that you are strong and you will get in there and get physical with him. Not necessarily, we're not talking about abusing the dog.
Yeah.
We're strictly talking about communication through the leash, through your communication tools, through the leash and the collar. And when I'm saying getting physical, you got to get them front 2 feet up off the ground and let them know, look, I can handle you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this,
he will feel that power, he'll feel that strength. And then, naturally, he doesn't want to challenge the leader.
Oh, yeah. And males will stay puppies longer than females. Males will stay puppies longer than females will. Females will mature faster. So don't let that confuse you, because you got a 16-month-old dog that's acting like a puppy, wanting to lick on everything and play with everything. And you're thinking that, well, it's a year old, this is what I got for life. No, because that's going to change on a dime at some point. So they are going to stay a little bit immature longer than a female. But when they mature, I used to tell people, man, Barack never, and he was my first experience with a Boerboel. He never met a stranger, somebody he didn't want to play with, somebody he didn't want to lick and love on, all the way up until, I'm talking about like 11 months and 1 week. The doorbell rings. I want to, who's on the other side of that door? I just want to love and play with everybody. And then one day that doorbell rang and he was, he was like, Dad, I'm going to defend you. That I'm not playing games anymore. If there's someone on the other side of this door that means to do you harm, is going to get it. So you got to remember that the dog will mature one day, and it's going to be, it might be a shock to you. It might be a shock to you, like, whoa, what the freak happened? Why are you going crazy? It's like, I'm a man now, Pops. I'm a man now.
Right, exactly. Man, that's huge too. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's something that we're going to dive into deep coming up in the next following few weeks when we start getting into this
I'm jumping
switch.
Slow down, Jason. Slow down.
Yeah. When we get into the Boerboels have a switch, and if there are ways that you can trigger this behavior, there are ways that you can. What happens in my experience is the dog figures out, I'm a big dog, I'm a strong dog, and people are scared of me. And I'm able to impose myself on them, superimpose on people, and affect the way that they move. And remember, I mean, we're talking about a very highly intelligent, highly adaptable, highly trainable dog. So he's like having fun. This becomes a game. Oh yeah, I can jump and make a move. I can do this and I can get a response. Dad doesn't seem to mind. Dad seems to encourage. Dad seems to enjoy this, right? So what happens is the dog's like getting comfortable. He's getting into his zone. He's getting into the mode. Okay, this is what I do. You know, this is something to relieve boredom. This is an activity that Dad enjoys, that I participate in. He likes me to behave like a big dog, you know, and I could tell that he's happy, he's amused. You know, I could feel it in his disposition. I feel like the Boerboel.
How dominant is it? How dominant is a Boerboel?
The Boerboel, see, that's where your effective leadership is going to come into play.
Depends on you.
It depends on you.
Depends on you.
Right? Because the Boerboel is a super breed. So I feel like not only are they very dominant, they can also be very submissive.
Yeah.
If you have to establish, that's where this effective communication is going to come in. I cannot understate that enough. The effective communication, the employment of the tools, your leash and your collar. This is a direct connection to your dog's brain. Okay. This is the way that you're going to.
So that's part of domestication, right? Part of domestication. So in a wolf pack, and this is where when we asked about the dominance of a breed, in a wolf pack, right? There's an alpha male. Every male at some point in their brain, they have to challenge for leadership. They just have to do it. Once they get messed up and put in their place by the alpha wolf, they're like, cool, you're the boss. I'm good with being a subordinate, right?
Right.
With domestication, a dog does not want to challenge for dominance. A dog wants to be led, but they have to have a leader. A dog is unhappy, like a wolf is happy leading if they get a chance to lead. A dog does not want to lead, but they will assume that role if you don't. So they won't leave a leadership vacancy. So if you're dominant, then your dog will be submissive and they won't challenge you for leadership. But if they see that you're wishy-washy and that the survival of the pack is not that you're not in the best interest for the survival of the pack, then they're like, fuck, I gotta do this. Okay, I'm gonna do it then. So that's totally up to you.
Yeah, and I remember, you know, this is all in the in the interest of survival, right? They trying to make sure that the safety and the security of the pack. So that's where the strongest dog is always going to be the leadership, and they learn this submission very early on, right? They learn that Dad is a big guy, Dad is the strong, Dad is the boss. Nobody can outrun them, nobody can outpower them. And this is established very young. So you get this ingrained and installed in the dog right around 4 to 6 months. This is when the dog's behavior and his routines and his consistency. This is why we is talking about this today. You know, this is a critical period in your dog's development, and you want to make sure that you're making the most of this situation.
So there's a question. It's not really about the topic that we're on today, but is something that we'll probably just need to address real quick.
You say is the black Boerboels pure mixed with Labrador? So
this is a divisive question. There's a lot of misinformation out there about this. Again, when you see a Boerboel, I'll put it this way: if you have a Boerboel that's 100% Boerboel, and you know it's 100% Boerboel, and you know its grandparents are 100% Boerboel, and you know the great grandparents are 100% Boerboel, and it has a litter mate that's black, how is that not 100% Boerboel just because of its color, right?
Yeah,
so there might have been something introduced very far back, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 generations ago. So and it depends on what bloodline you're looking at, but black Boerboels are pure Boerboels. So just a simple answer is yes, a black Boerboel is a pure Boerboel. That's the quick answer. There might be some more minute things in there that you can expunge upon, but the simple answer is a black Boerboel is a pure Boerboel. That's the simple answer.
Yes. That's the short, direct answer is strong. Yes. But then when we start to get into the complexities of the answer, that's something that we're going to dive into on the next episode. Buddies,
remember, there's 4 types. So when you have a dog that has 4 types, a Rottweiler doesn't have 4 types. A Doberman doesn't have 4 types. You know what I mean? So when you got a dog that has 4 types, when you start saying purebred, there's some subjective things in there. Because again, there's 4 types of Boerboels. So there's going to be some, you know what I mean, like we were talking about, was it last week or the week before that, the diversity in this dog, which makes it the greatest breed around. What makes it the greatest breed around, again, there's some innuendos in there with what is pure and what isn't. But when you get a black Boerboel, structurally wise, appearance wise, temperament wise, those things on the outer surface and what you desire are going to be 100% in line with a fawn Boerboel, a red Boerboel, a blue Boerboel, a brown Boerboel.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's a complex issue because when you start talking about Boerboel, the actual word, when we break down the word Boerboel, it means farm dog. Is that a type of dog or is that a breed of dog? And it's something that we're gonna have. That's a deep discussion. Because
when we have the subject of purebreds, and me and Jordan introduced me to a crazy video that they tried to just wipe off of the earth, right? A documentary they tried to wipe off. They don't want anybody to know about. But man, so we're gonna dive into that. Jordan opened my eyes about this whole purebred thing with this one documentary that was so powerful. Again, man, you got to get on the dark web to find a documentary. You got to go into the dark web to see this, and it's not something violent. It's just exposing a lot of truths.
Yeah, it's huge. We're gonna talk about that, buddy.
That's a different conversation.
That's a deep conversation. That's a whole nother episode. And we want to make sure that we're gonna give it to you straight, give it to you as factual and as informative as it can be. So we're gonna dive into the topic, but we hope that this episode was very informative. Just to close out and then the conclusions, the recap, the summary. The Boerboel is a very intelligent breed. Emotionally, they can learn. They're capable of learning. That comes from the instinct to survive. They have evolved alongside the villager. So purposefulness, usefulness is something that is heavily ingrained in the breed. They're very adaptable. They can learn at a very fast rate. They retain information. So your job as the new Boerboel owner is to be consistent, to train the dogs, to keep the dogs where they slow control growth, and monitoring your praise, monitoring the behaviors It's all about establishing effective leadership, consistency. These are the things that all dogs need in their life.
Again, we're getting ready to close out. Again, we like to keep focused on that. This is the Boerboel world with us. Everything's open for discussion. That's why it's called Boerboel Breakdown and Discussion. Some things we have to give quick answers to because we actually have a show dedicated to it later on. And that's why we always emphasize stay tuned every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for this show. I mean, because it's the most up-to-date, most calculated, intriguing show on the planet when it comes to the Boerboels, right? When it comes to the Boerboels, this is your one-stop shop. We don't gossip. We just give you the latest up-to-date information, everything you need to know, whether you purchase a puppy from one of us or if you get it from somebody else. Just make sure you're armed with all the information that you need to get. And again, you're going to get it positive from us. You're going to get a positive. You're not going to get, hey, we hate this guy, we hate that guy. If somebody has great dogs or somebody has something you need, we're gonna put you in contact with it again. And when you're one of the premier people in the breed, as Jordan is, when you have exotic Boerboels, when you have that and it has the prestigious name behind it, it speaks for itself. And so that's how you become a Boerbassador and you're able to command the audience that you have. So when you have exotic Boerboels, when you have Savage Kingdom on the line, we're going to make sure you get the information if you're shopping with us or not. But that doesn't mean we don't have availabilities. The registry.
And listen, and way we doing it is it's top notch. No corners is being cut. We doing our research. We doing our homework. We seeking out the best of the bloodlines. We trying to make informed decisions so that we can provide you with the best. This is all about enhancing your experience. Sharing information that we have learned along the way. How did we didn't get here by chance. This is deliberate. We've been working very hard, developing our bloodlines, making our breeding selections, trying to improve with every single day. Every single day we're trying to improve. So keep that in mind, Boer buddies. We all are Boerboel owners. We all are Boerbassadors, though. When you step out with your breed, when you step out with your dog, we all represent one another. So be responsible, stay respectful, stay humble. I wanted to touch on one last thing, a couple of the things before I close out. Boer buddies, the registry is open. United Boerboel Club. I know we missed on our Monday for our appraisals, but we coming back. We're gonna do a bunch of appraisals next week on Monday. The registry is open. We got a dog show coming up September 21st. The first dog show for the United Boerboel Club. And I wanted to touch on one last thing, very important. We talked about reasons that breeders fail. Listen, last week we forgot something very important. Now, I want to make sure that everybody is up to date on this. Be aware of if you live in a municipality, wherever you live at, be informed of your laws, your ordinances. Know what you can and cannot do. How many dogs you can have, how long they can be outside, when they need to come inside. You got to be aware. You need to do your research before you buy a bunch of dogs and then start annoying your neighbors. Try to be at peace with your neighbors. Listen, because that's a headache that you don't want to have. Going back and forth, getting into it with your neighbors. Try to be accommodating. Know that, your dogs may be barking and may get on people's nerves. They be trying to sleep and stuff. So that was one of the things that I wanted to touch on why breeders fail. And then that's it for me, y'all. I appreciate everybody that came today, spent time with us.
One last thing before you close it out, brother. Just like you said, the registry is open now. You have somebody that's going to keep track of your dog's lineage, the main thing you want. You also have somebody who proves it is accessible to you. When you have somebody like the Boerbassador here that's accessible to you for answers, online, offline, on the telephone number. So you got all these things you have. You have someone that's going to put on shows, going to track your lineage, going to be accessible for all you and your Boerboel's needs. It's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer when you get what you need for the breed. And it's part of the whole discussion we're talking about, survival. Survival of this breed starts right here with Boerboel Breakdown and Discussion. the new registry and everything we're putting on the table to make sure that we at Savage Kingdom, at Exotic Boerboels, we're not just trying to sell you a puppy. We're trying to provide a lifestyle for the Boerboel in whole and to ensure its survival, like he just gave you that gem about your municipalities, about different codes that might be attributable to your dog or not. So these are all the things that's on the table when you ask, what does this registry bring to the table? We bring the freaking table.
Right. And guess what, boy buddies? We gonna eat.
Yeah.
We gonna eat, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Don't forget, we got the Boerboel University starting on Saturday. Our first class is on Saturday. You don't want to miss this. We're gonna increase your reach. We're gonna increase your audience. Guaranteed. We know what to do. Coming up on Saturday. And big bruh, this is it for me, man. I want to make sure that we saving some for next week.
Yeah,
7 o'clock, y'all. You don't want to miss this. We doing our homework, we doing our research, we coming to you with the facts. You know, as we going in it, and we welcome anyone else to come in. If you got opinions that you want to share, this is an open platform where everyone is welcome. So yeah, that's it for me though, big bro. I appreciate y'all for staying and tuning in. I hope that y'all picked up some valuable information. If not, let us know how we can make this a better show. We always trying to elevate and get better. We want to come to y'all with more entertaining and informative information. You know, this is about the breed that we love. The Boerboel is a majestic, mythical dog. It's when you get one, you won't want another breed, guaranteed. This is the best dog that you could possibly have. And I appreciate y'all. I hope that everybody is picking up what we putting down. With that being said, though, big brother, that's it for me. I'm done. I appreciate y'all. Much love. Much love. Beat that chest 2 times, pound it out, and salute y'all. It's it. That's it, y'all. Next week, 7 o'clock. Be here. Beat us there.
No rush, go on, move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you got a deal run up. No rush, go on, move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and now you got a deal run up. Whole gang, whole man, old school, young jam.